My name is Alan Steinfeld, and my program is called New Realities. Each week I go deep into the understanding of how we can start to change the planet, how new ideas can be presented to the world to unfold a greater civilization. Welcome to New Realities. I'm Alan Steinfeld, and this program is about the evolution of our consciousness. That means body, mind, soul, and that is why I'm so happy today to be talking to someone who covers all the bases: the health of the body, the health of the mind, and the health of the soul, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Bertrand Babinet from Colorado and France and the
France
universe.
originally, and probably a weird planet before that.
Your work is so comprehensive. So you started where? Because you do cover the body, mind, and soul.
Yeah.
And you look at the whole person.
Yeah.
Where did you start that journey? What were you looking at first in your journey towards helping people?
Well, you know, I probably started with my own life and my own challenges, because I was born at the beginning of World War II, and so at a very traumatic time. At the age of 3.5, I was away from my parents in Normandy and in protective trenches during the deportation.
Wow.
Okay. And so a short time after that, my older brother passed away. And so I got very empathetically connected to the grief of my mother. Okay. At a very early age, I felt it as my purpose to assist people in coming into a greater sense of balance. And then around 10 years old, I remember that strong, you know, spiritual experience of empathy for the hurt on the planet. And so it started really with an empathetic resonance with the hurt, and really a sense that in some way I could bring a greater sense of peace and joy in people.
But before we go a little deeper there, I just want to say Dr. Bertrand is the author of Empowering the Heart, a really great book which kind of goes through these processes of body, mind, soul.
Our brain has 4 primary functions. We connect, we direct, we have the ability to cognize, to reflect, to understand what's going on, and we have creative ability. Okay, so that's really the 4 elements of our brain. And they are wired to be reactive. They are wired for survival.
Our brain is wired for survival,
And
absolutely.
so is our body. And so the real issue is, how do we move from reactivity to a state of balance, which I call inner peace, which I call neutrality. And that's always my first step. And I describe it usually the way I describe a car going backward and wanting to go forward. And I say, before you can go from backward, reverse, to forward, you have to go to neutral.
Oh, okay. So how does that apply to the body, let's say?
Well, the body is a little bit differently, because the body, in the same way as our psyche, has really been designed for peace and programmed in reactivity. Our body has a basic mechanism to restore balance, which we call homeostasis, okay? And then what happened is that it gets so much out of balance that it no longer knows how to find its own connectedness,
neutrality,
its ability to restore its own balance.
How does it get out of balance?
Toxicity, or microbe, fungus, electromagnetic field, stress, you know, poor nutrition.
So you start there. You remove the stress, the poor nutrition, the toxicity.
Well, I look, yes. So what I basically say, health is simple and affordable.
And affordable.
And affordable.
Affordable.
So disease are very expensive, but health is basically simple and affordable. In the same way as there are 4 movements of our brain, there are 4 primary functions of the body.
Oh, let's talk about that.
We absorb, which takes nutrient in.
Right.
Okay? And we have 52 basic nutrients. So if we have major deficiencies, the system doesn't work well.
If there's a nutrient deficiency in any of these nutrients,
It's going to create stress.
it will also rob the body from other organs. Because, yeah.
Or the body has to fight. It has to adjust because it's amazingly good at adjusting. When I work with my clients, I look at minerals, vitamin, carotenoids, bioflavonoids, amino acids, and enzymes.
Okay.
And of
right.
course, I look at primarily the digestive enzyme because otherwise there are thousands of enzymatic action in the body.
Okay. So the absorption was, second one was what?
The second one is processing, which sometimes we call metabolism, which means everything in the body, anything you take in your body has to be broken down before it can be used for the body.
Right.
So if you take protein, for example, it has to be broken down into amino acids, and peptides before your body can absorb it. So it cannot just absorb, protein. It has to
Right.
break it down.
Right.
Fat have to be converted. They have to basically be pre-digested and converted from one chain to another. So the idea is that we absorb, then we transform.
That's the metabolic action.
You got it, which involve a lot of organs.
Of course, we can't absorb unless we have a proper metabolism.
This is correct, but we also can't metabolize unless we have the right nutrient.
That's
So
the
it's a-
problem. What comes first?
It's a catch-22.
All right. So what's the other two?
But then we have to eliminate because well, basically even in our food there are a lot of toxins.
Yes.
And we can't digest everything we take in, so we have to eliminate. So the body is designed to detoxify all the time. Through the liver, through the kidneys, through the skin,
through the lungs,
the lymphatic system, through the lung. So we constantly are eliminating things. And then we have to basically get rid of pathogen, so negative things that come into the body.
Pathogens, we have to, our body's constantly on the lookout for that.
And normally the body is designed to eliminate it. So your body already has anti-parasitic function, antiviral function, antifungal function, antibacterial function, so it's designed to maintain the equilibrium.
That's why you talk about fungus a
The
lot.
fungus would be one of those things that interfere with the terrain.
A lot of people have fungal problem and they don't even know it.
Oh, absolutely.
That's why I can't eat wheat, because of the candida and the fungal and the...
Hold it. Candida is actually indigenous to the body.
Right, but it can be too much.
So the problem is that when we take antibiotics,
yes,
the antibiotic kills the bacteria, and then the fungus grows, and then it moves from the intestinal tract to the small intestine, from the intestine to the blood, and then from the blood into the lymphatic system, and it colonizes the lymphatic system, goes into our joints and our brain.
What do you do for fungal problems?
In my case, my favorite product, and there are many of them,
Yes.
my favorite product is a South American herb which is called pau d'arco.
I know pau d'arco. It is a powerful, powerful
Pau
herb.
d'arco is beautiful.
That helps restore the terrain?
It helps clear up the fungus throughout the system, and not just in the intestinal tract.
So we have the metabolism, we have the absorption, we have the pathogens, we have, what was the fourth thing?
Basically maintaining the balance by eliminating
detoxification.
What in functional medicine we call functional load. In functional medicine, what we say is that it is the different load that interfere with the natural function of the body. And the first job is to eliminate those load, whether it be toxicity, microbial, fungal, excess stress, poor digestion, poor nutrient, because a lot of people eat awful stuff, you know.
Horrible
and that
stuff.
the body has to fight all that garbage from McDonald's, all right?
You're
other
right. It's awful. So, okay, so you look at the body, and it seems like you really have a good handle on the metabolic function of the body, the toxins.
I try.
And then the mind, we just talked about
So
the mind.
the mind for me is very, very important. It's always the process of teaching people a simple method to get back into inner peace. And basically what I've discovered is that in most advertisement, they use nature, babies, pets, and music in order to elicit a response inside of us that connect us, in fact, to our essence.
Yeah.
And so then we confuse connecting to our essence with the product they want to sell us.
I know. They're so clever at these...
manipulating
our
psyche.
feelings so we can then, oh, the baby, the phone call, the cell phone, and that's how our world runs. So what do you do about that?
Well, I teach people that if they can realize which one of those symbols work the best for us, for them, they can learn how to come back into inner balance instantly.
All right, give me an example now.
What I would say, for example, if I was tuning into you, I would say that probably music is one of the key that connect you back to your heart.
Right, to center,
Okay?
yes.
So that as soon as you think or focus on music, you automatically go back to your heart center. And then if you started just breathing with that sound, then you would connect. And then if something was bothering you, you would have the ability to focus on music, come back into that inner peace, and then extend it to the situation. And then you could say, okay, now that I'm no longer reactive, how can I approach that situation in a way which is more effective?
So our baseline, I think you've said, is happiness.
But I think it would be better to say we are inner peace and we are love.
Okay, I like that. We are love.
We are love. That's our essence is love, because the essence of the universe and the essence of God is love.
So how do we empower the heart?
Well, first we learn how to come back to inner peace. Then we start realizing that all our brain has been programmed in childhood and that it's not particularly effective. That we have learned ego mechanisms that interfere with our ability to be empowered. So let me give you a little example, okay? So if we have a strong empathetic sense, usually we think that when people like us, it means that we're good, and when they don't like us, it means we're no good.
That's
so
right.
Then,
that's what I think.
So then we seek approval. If we have more of a control element, you know, then if we're more directed by our will, we believe that basically if people do it our way, it means that things are good.
Yes.
But if they don't do it our way, then they are bad.
Okay. So that's the second level.
You
so
got
our judgment about other people.
So basically for the people who are more emotional, they have a tendency to go for approval. The people who are more operating from the will, they try to go for control.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
the people who are more mental want recognition. They want people to tell them how smart they are.
That's like love and approval.
The people who are very creative, of course, want attention.
Yes.
Because, hey, if we create something, we want people to see it and to tell us how great our work is.
Yes.
So we all have been programmed with those ego mechanisms, and the problem with them is that they never fully satiate us.
They're never satisfied. You never can have enough attention or love.
So I have basically 3 tapes. You know, the book is all about that. Okay.
This book.
But then on my website, there are also 3 MP3. The first one is called the world, spirit, the world on you.
Spirit the world on you?
Which means that we are really designed as a channel for divine energy.
It's called spirit, the world, and you.
We are just in the middle. So the world, spirit is our source of empowerment.
Right.
The world is what attracts us outside.
Right.
And we are just in the middle. In Chinese medicine, it's called heaven, earth, and man.
Right. So we're the between
We
the,
are
the
in
inner
between.
and the outer.
You got it. And when we get caught up outward, we lose our sense of self.
Uh-huh.
And then if we go too much into the spirit and not enough participate in the world, then we get totally spaced out and not effective at all. We may be fine spiritually, but we're not effective at all in the world.
We can't function in the world.
You got it. So that we need to have the empowerment through the spirit, but to be practical and effective in the world.
That makes sense.
So my second part, my second MP3 is called Living in Peaceful Harmony. Once you have learned how to do that, how do you start bringing that
But how do we learn how to do that?
That's easy.
It is?
Every time you are reactive, you come back into the inner peace, and you say, okay, you know, I'm going to bring into that a spirit of adventure. You know, so I'm going to make it fun. I'm going to make it, instead of something that, oh my God, I'm so agitated, you say, oh, you know, sometimes life is an adventure.
So you change your perspective on reality.
You got it, and you look for an inner quality of soul.
Yeah, explain that.
Well,
Inner
it's
quality
like,
of soul.
Well, there are a lot of quality of soul. Humor, playfulness, joy, aliveness, resilience, flexibility,
These are qualities of the soul.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we know that because as soon as we tune into them, we get empowered.
Wait, say them again so I can remember.
There are many, many more. I have a list of about 200.
In the book. It's all in the book.
It is in the book.
What are the ones you just say so I can...
Well, I said cooperation, humor, playfulness, gentleness is very important for people. People are very hard on themselves.
These are soul qualities.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
And the reason we know they are soul quality because they naturally empower us. You know, and
they naturally empower us.
Listen, close your eyes and look at joy.
Look at joy?
Yeah,
or feel the joy?
Feel the joy, experience the joy. Look at it, sense it. It feels great.
It actually does feel good. Thank you for the reminder.
Okay, now look at frustration.
Feel frustration. No,
you say, that doesn't feel good.
No, especially if you're feeling it.
You know, it's very risky.
People get numb to the fact they're feeling it all the time.
You got it. And so basically we need to re-educate them that the soul is amazingly expanded and totally available to us 24 hours a day just to ask. There is no big magic of having follow a lot. You know, God wants us to be happy. Okay, so we don't, it's not like we have to follow all those rules, you know, and genuflex and do all those things to get God's approval. God is already on our team.
God, because we're
an extension of the divine. So God is already on our team. So
we don't have to get God's approval.
No. All we have to do is open and receive.
Open and receive.
That's all we need to do. All we need to do is we move out of the reactivity back to the inner peace, because that's a doorway into the love. And then we learn how to use the quality of soul to approach our life in a more effective way. That's all that my book talks about, really. But then I go into a whole lot of detail about the limbic brain and how, you know, how it's programmed in our childhood, and how the will is programmed.
But yeah, how do we overcome our basic programming?
Because we go back to the heart. And we empower the heart.
But what if you're brought up with stress? What if you don't even know how to connect in there?
Well, then you are lost. And you come to Bertrand.
Bertrand Babinet. No, but give us a clue. Let's say people don't know how to connect back in.
Well, you know, most of them at one time, you know, the funny thing is that everybody knows how to reconnect, but it's so subtle that they don't register it. Right. Because we all have been touched. You know, in fact, You know, we talked about the four symbol, nature, music, pet, babies, but I also said there is another one, because automatically when something touches us, we put our hand on our heart.
Right.
And that's a kinesthetic reference of our own connectedness. And so even doing that on breathing in our hand, unless you're carrying a lot of hurt and you have created...
And what if you are?
Well, then you need some healing work, you know, whether it be with me or through...
You need to release that. It's like the
You
toxicity.
need to learn how to... For some people, it's psychological work. For some people, it's just, you know, mindfulness. For some people, it's meditation. For some people, it's contemplation. For some people, it's going into a retreat and learning how to reconnect to nature at a deep level. So I think for each person it's different, but it's going to go from the outer reference point, moving back to our inner reference, and learning how to live our life, not from the outside in, but from the inside out.
That is great. That's exactly empowering your heart.
Yeah.
Living your life from the inside out.
Out. Which is our natural... you know, the problem that we have been designed for ease and grace, and we have been programmed for fear, lack, and reactivity.
Wait, say that again. I want to take that in.
We have been designed for ease and grace, and because we have been designed to channel the spirit.
Right. That's our purpose here, is channeling the spirit.
But we have been programmed from in reactivity, fear, and lack.
Why do we let that happen? Why can't we create a society where we go to love and grace? And
you know, I think because in a certain way, we are here to become consciously aware of spirit. And so we're in the pathway where it's nearly we go through the negative so that it becomes a conscious choice.
That's really good.
Because as a baby, you know, as a baby, everything comes to us from the outside in. You know, and so it's not like we have a strong inside reference point as a child, but everything, you know, our food comes from...
we're so open.
Our touch, the people's attention, the people's awareness, everything comes from the outside. And so, of course, we get hooked on the outside. How could we not? You know, either we don't get what we want, and then we create a lot of lack and fear, or we get everything we want, and then we become totally dependent on things coming from the outside, and we become very entitled. That's why the new generation of people, as you may have noticed, tend to be pretty entitled.
Yeah, I think every generation has that
It's a little bit more, but there is a lot of, you know, there is a lot of that sense of things should come to me, rather than the sense of I'm here to contribute, I'm here to give, I'm here to be
That's what we
generous.
need to return back to.
Absolutely. We need to return to the basic principle, you know, of trust, respect, willingness to learn, and generosity. I'm here to learn. Respect is the foundation of relationship.
Right.
Okay, and responsibility.
Learn, responsibility,
Build up trust.
trust.
Okay, by connecting to the spirit rather than looking for balance in the world. Okay, and then we need to be generous with our gift, talents, and abilities.
So generosity, respect, responsibility,
and willingness
trust.
to learn.
And learn.
It's so important. People always ask me, how do I create good relationship? And I say, it's very simple. Look for people who have a lot of respect for themselves, for others, for the environment, for each other. Look at people who are willingness to learn. Otherwise, our relationship is going to be totally boring.
Right. Thank you.
Look for people who, when they speak their word, you know that you can trust them because they are trustworthy. and look at people who are more interested in giving than in getting.
This is...
And as long as you have that, you have very good relationship.
Thank you, Bertrand.
Those are the 4 keys to every healthy relationship.
This has been very insightful for me. Bertrand has the book, Empowering the Heart. His website is Babinetics.com. You really cover it all. Thank you so much for being here today.
Well,
The body, the mind, the soul. And I think if people listen to this and watch this and take it in,
yeah. So I live in Colorado.
Oh yeah, your website, Babinetics.
Babinetics.com.
And you live in Colorado, and you do.
I come in New York often, but I travel in other part of the country, and I do most of my work on the phone or through Skype.
Okay.
Because in my late adolescence, I discovered that the ability to attune to people and to basically look at the resources that they needed to restore health and balance.
So if people go to your website, they'll be able to have an appointment with you.
They can sign up for an appointment, they can buy the book, they can buy the product, and they can also look at what my schedule is in other part of the country.
Right.
Sign up for my newsletter, which is loaded with information.
Wow. Thank you. You've really done the work. Bertrand's really done that research to help people in any way you can. That's what I find about you. You're very compassionate.
And also I like to have fun. If it's too serious, it's not for me.
Right. Thank you for being here.
No, I thank you. It was delightful.
Yes, I appreciate your wisdom. I'm really glad because I heard you talk the other day, but now you went deeper and covered so many bases. Thank you, Jan Goldstaff, for being the PR person connecting all this and making it happen. I'm Alan Steinfeld for New Realities. If you want to reach me, go to my website, newrealities.com, and my YouTube, youtube.com/newrealities. Thank you, Bertrand. Thank you for watching.